Welcome to the first ever Real Estate Summer Series podcast brought to you by Gramercy Real Estate Group. My name is Blanca and I have the pleasure of sitting here with Felix Colón Serrano. Felix is a partner and an attorney at Colón Serrano Zambrana. Today we are going to talk about a very, very popular subject, which is the tourism company and the hotel incentives here in Puerto Rico. Felix, as you know, we manage one of the largest real estate groups on Facebook called Act 2022 Puerto Rico Real Estate Guide, and we have a lot of our members having a lot of questions about these incentives. So I want to start off by asking you, what are these incentives offered by the tourism company for hotels in Puerto Rico?
Well, first of all, thank you, Blanca, for inviting me to your first edition of this podcast. So those benefits are part of Act 60 of 2019, the Incentives Code of Puerto Rico, and the benefits are essentially a 4% income tax rate, 75% exemption on property taxes, 50% exemption on municipal taxes, 100% exemption on sales and use tax for items that you purchase towards the particular tourism activity.
What kind of items?
Well, so essentially in a hotel, that could be furniture, equipment for the hotel, etc. But the most important part are essentially the tax credits that you could choose between two options. It's either 30% or 40%.
Oh, okay. Then that's going to be one of my questions
Right.
too. What is a tax credit? That's one question. How does that process work? And how much does these tax credits sell for in today's market?
That's a good question. Tax credits are essentially a dollar for dollar reduction of your tax liability, right? So essentially, if you have a tax liability of $100,000 and you have a tax credit for $50,000, then you get a discount on that tax liability. In terms of how much it sells in the current market, I would say more than 90 cents per dollar.
Okay, interesting. And you know, I understand that there's different classifications for different types of hotels. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, essentially there are many kinds of hotels contemplated under Act 60 that would benefit from these incentives. Those could be bed and breakfast, guest houses, traditional hotels,
Okay.
and others.
And you know, what are the differences between these? Is it the number of bedrooms and bathrooms? Is it that? Is it something else, or?
That is one component, and that may be found in the regulations for lodgings that the tourism company has. Essentially, a guest house would have somewhere at least 7 bedrooms, guest rooms. Bed and breakfast would have 3 to 6 guest rooms, and a hotel would have at least 15 guest rooms.
Oh, okay. So that would be a boutique hotel. What would you consider a large hotel? How many bedrooms?
Well, in Puerto Rico, the largest hotel, I believe it has around 700 guest rooms. So that more than 200 guest rooms would be a large hotel. Yeah.
Excellent. So for people that are looking to invest in these projects, where can they find the best opportunities island-wide?
That is a good question. In particular, Act 60 enacts some additional benefits for the islands of Vieques and Culebra. The income tax drops all the way to 2% for 5 years, and the exemptions on property tax and municipal taxes are essentially on 100% for 5 years. And so I would say that in Vieques and Culebra, it's a good option.
Okay. And are there like any government agencies or website, or you know, where people can go to and see what's available?
Yes, I would recommend that any potential investor talk to a consultant that knows the key players in the industry, someone like Gramercy Real Estate Group, or that you could also find information from the Puerto Rico Tourism Company Department of Development and Planning, as well as the Department of Economic Development, their Office of Incentives.
That's good to know. Thank you. And so in general, how do you see the hotel industry develop in the coming years in terms of growth and demand?
Yeah, well, that is an excellent question. Puerto Rico, I would say that Puerto Rico for the past decade or more has maintained an inventory of around 15,000 guest rooms. So some hotels have opened, some hotels have closed. Nevertheless, in the past few years, the government has taken the initiative to approve more decrease with tax credits, and so you could say that there is an increased availability of rooms in the pipeline, some exciting projects that might be coming to Puerto Rico. Also, this current administration has made it a top priority to cut red tape and to facilitate economic growth, and that will inevitably have an impact on tourism development and hospitality development.
Well, thank you so much, Felix. This has been fantastic information. I'm sure we have a lot of members that have a lot more questions here that want answered. So please, how can we reach you?
You could reach me at my office at 787-919-0026 or at my email directly, felix@cszlawpr.com.
Excellent. Thank you for your time,
Thank
Felix.
you.